Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome back to Cypress Automation Tool Beginners Tutorial. So in my previous session, I've started teaching you how can we automate the manual test cases by using Cypress Automation Tool. So I have covered some basic test cases that we automated by using Cypress. So this is continuation to our previous lesson where I'm going to teach you more complex test cases to automate by using Cypress. Okay, so this is very important concepts, guys. So I would recommend you guys to visit my previous session before you watch this particular lesson. Okay, so please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you. To all viewers, a big thank you whoever watching my YouTube videos. So what I can observe, around 86.8% of the viewers are watching my videos, but they have not subscribed to my channel. I would recommend and I would request everyone, please do subscribe to the channel and encourage me in posting more and more videos which are helpful for you guys. Thank you. So this is my Visual Studio Code. So in our previous session, we automated the functionality related to habits page, right? If you remember correctly. So this is our habits page. We have automated some basic test cases related to this habit checklist page. Okay. So today in our session, so we are going to automate little complex test cases. Okay. So the page that we are going to automate or the modules that we are going to automate is accomplishments. Okay, so here what are we going to automate? My first test case is enter the accomplishment and the description and check the accomplishment is valid. If you don't check this accomplish valid checkbox and click on submit applicant, you're going to get an error message. So we're going to validate if the user gets an error message, any one of the mandatory field is not filled. Okay, so we're going to validate that. And then once you submit the application, we're going to validate this asynchronous message. Basically, we are going to validate that once you submit the accomplishment successfully, this successful message appears on the screen. Right, so before message appears on the screen, you have a small refresh screen, right? So how can we handle that delay of your application? Okay, so that I'm gonna teach you by using Cypress. So it's very easy to handle the asynchronous messages in Cypress. I'm gonna teach you how. Okay, and then our next test case is once you click on go back button, the screen, basically the user will be redirected to accomplishments, but all the fields should become blank, right? All the fields should become blank, including the checkbox. So we are going to validate that as well. Okay, and then you will be landing onto this particular page. I'm going to validate, yes, user is landed to page. Okay, how can we perform all these test case automation? I'm going to teach you. Okay, so let's go back to Visual Studio Code. If you remember, we already created one JavaScript file, habits.spec, right? So now our new module is accomplishments. So for that, let me create a new file under functional automation. Okay, new file, accomplishments.spec.js. Okay, so this is our new module where we are going to automate the test cases. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to refer this file with the Cypress library. Okay, so that you can use the autocomplete function. Okay, and then as usual, we are going to define the scenario. What is our scenario? Describe, validate accomplishments page, validate accomplishments page functionality. This is my scenario. function. Okay, and here, so as we did earlier, I'm gonna specify before each function here. Okay, before each, that means before executing each test case, I want to visit the corresponding URL. Okay, basically the application, whatever I'm testing, I want to visit that URL. Okay, site visit, and my application, basically the base URL is this, correct? And then what is your extension, which is accomplishments. I'm going to specify the accomplishments here. I'm not going to specify entire base URL because I specified my base URL under cypress.json. So I have explained about this in my previous session. Okay, so you can visit my previous session. So this is my reusable function that will be executed before executing any test case. Okay, so now let's execute our first test case. What is our first test case? When you click on submit accomplishments, you need to validate any missing fields. You are gonna get an error message. Okay, I'm gonna validate that. Okay, so now what is it function, right? Any test function you will be defining under it function. I have explained you what is it function. Okay, and then what are we validating? Error message should be displayed if information is missing. If you are missing any information, then an error message will be displayed. Function. Okay, so to test that, first we have to enter title. Right click and inspect. Okay, what is your title? So my title is, so if you see, I have an so if you see, there is an attribute called this one, data-sci. I can take this attribute. Okay, I want to take this attribute, this entire attribute. I want to use this attribute, okay, to identify the object. Oh, sorry, first we need to see this one, right? Inspect, and this is my attribute for this. I'm going to take this entire attribute, copy, sci. So what is the function? Get function. Sci.get attribute is denoted under square brackets, correct? Square brackets, and here what is my attribute? Data-sci is my attribute, correct? Data-sci is my attribute, and then here I'm specifying the attribute value. This is my attribute value, which is data-sci, and then dot, what we need to do? We need to type something, right? Type, what is my accomplishment? Okay, what is my accomplishment? Title of the accomplishment. Title of the accomplishment is prepare YouTube sessions. This is my title of the accomplishment. And then next one is accomplishments, my accomplishment. Okay, the description. So this time I'm going to use this same data-sci attribute. Okay, sci.get, sci.get, enter, sci.get, again attribute denoted under square bracket. Okay, and again here I need to type. What I want to type? Prepared 10 YouTube sessions in a week. Okay, this is done. And then after that, you're gonna, instead of checking, I'm not gonna check this box, I'm gonna directly click on submit. right click inspect. So what I'll do, I'm going to use this text this time. I'm going to use the text sci dot. This time I'm going to use contains sci dot contains what, this text. If this contains this text, and then click. That's it. Okay, so let me first open Cypress. npx Cypress open. So I have explained about these commands earlier in my previous sessions. I will recommend you guys to visit my previous sessions. Open this. So it will take a couple of seconds to open the Cypress. Okay, so I can see my Cypress is open. Okay, so if you see, whatever the new module that we created now, which is accomplishments.spec.js, right? So the new file you should be able to see. See, this is my new file. Click on this. As soon as you click on this, it's going to execute the test case that we automated just now. And then it should open accomplishment screen. Yeah, so it is visiting accomplishment screen now. Okay, so this visited accomplishment screen, and then whatever the test case that we automated, right? So it basically entered the value here. It also entered the value here. Now it should click on submit. So let's see. Okay, let me go back to this one. So we did not specify parenthesis after click. Okay, that's why I did not clicked on the button. Again, let's save this and see what happens. Okay, so it's typing, it's clicked on submit, and then you're gonna validate, complete the items above to continue. Okay, so how to validate that? Okay, so for that, let's go to here. So here, if you see inspect, let's inspect. Okay, let's go back here, submit. Let's inspect here. Click on inspect. I can easily take this text. If this text is contained, copy. So what I'm going to do, this should be visible. Sci dot contains this text dot should. So I explained you assertions, how to use assertions in Cypress in my previous session, but however I'm going to make a separate video on assertions. Okay, should be dot visible. So that means what I'm saying, this object should be visible after clicking on submit, right? So now again, let's save this. Control save. So it's executing again. It's typed, this typed, and clicked on this, and then it's validated this error message. If you see here, see, this is visible. Assertion is passed. If you see, one test case is passed. Correct? So now, this is our first test case. What is our second test case? Our second test case is, if I fill all the information and click on submit, it should get submitted successfully, right? And then you should get a success message whenever I click on submit, and then this slow refresh page will appear, and then a success message will be appearing. Okay, so let's it function again. My test function should display successful message if accomplishment is submitted successfully, right? This is my test case name. Function. Okay, so let's do one thing. So we already filled these two, right? And then clicked on submit accomplishments. Let's copy those steps as it is. Okay, let's copy those steps as it is. But here, before you submit the accomplishment, you need to check this box, correct? So for that, what is the checkbox here? Inspect. If you see, I can see only checkbox, one checkbox on this page. So I can take the attribute called type checkbox. Okay, copy this. So before I click on submit, I need to check the checkbox. Site dot get, again attribute within square brackets with single quotes, okay, dot click. I'm just clicking on checkbox, and then I'm gonna click on submit accomplishment, right? So let's save this and see what happens. Okay, so this time it should execute two test cases. Save it. My first test case to validate the error message, and my second test case, see how fast it is running. It submitted the application successfully, and now I got the successful message, right? So now if you see here, I got the successful message. But the test case validation, what is the validation? Validation is to validate this successful message. For that, let's capture the successful message locator. Okay, so I'm going to capture this one. I'm going to take the text directly. So this is my text. Copy this text. We need to validate now. As soon as you click on submit, sci contains this should be, this text should be, sorry, this text should be visible. This text should be visible, right? Now save it and then see how it's going to validate. My first test case pass, second test case submit, assertion, it is checking for the message. If you see, when I am running this test case, this message is not coming immediately. It is taking around 3 to 4 seconds. Let me again run again. See, the specialty of Cypress is if that message is not appearing, see, it's going to try multiple times. See, it tries multiple times until the message appears. So that means it is an asynchronous message. It's going to wait for the message to appear on the screen. Until the message appears, it's going to retry multiple times. Okay, that's how my assertion is passed now. If you see, two test cases are passed. My first test case and second test case. And then now what is our third test case? My third test case is, as soon as I click on go back, I should land onto accomplishment page, and all these input text boxes and check boxes should be blank. Okay, so let's create another test case. So let me copy this entire test case as it is. Copy this, paste it here. Now what is my test case? My test case is should return to accomplishments page with empty inputs when user clicks go back button. So this is my test case. So here, so what I'm doing, first I'm going to fill all the information and then submit the accomplishments, and then instead of validating the message, what I need to do, I need to just click on go back button, right? So let's take the go back button. So let's take submit. Let's take the go back button. What is the go back? Right click and inspect. So I can simply take the text, go back text, which contains go back, right? So there are multiple ways, but I can probably take the go back text. Okay, copy, site dot, as soon as I submit, I'm again clicking on go back, site dot go back dot click, site dot contains go back dot click. Okay, so let's save this and see how it executes. My first test case to validate the error message, done. Second test case to validate the successful message. And third test case, submit, and then click on go back. See, done. It's clicked on go back also. We again landed back to, see here, it clicked on back, go back button, and then it's landed back to accomplishment. Now we need to validate if those values are empty. That means have empty values. So let me just copy these. Okay, if you see, these are all the first text box, second text box, and check it. First text box, second text box, and checkbox. Okay, let's copy all this, paste here. Instead of typing, what I'm going to do, I need to validate that this text box is empty. So what we'll do, should, I'm going to insert the assertion. Okay, should, what assertion? This is, I'm going to use a new assertion. Have value, should have value of what? Blank. See, I'm specifying blank with 2 quotes. Okay, in the same way, this should also have value blank, right? Should have dot value comma blank, right? And what about checkbox? The checkbox should not be checked. The checkbox should not be checked. If you see, once you go back, the checkbox should not be checked, right? Dot should be checked. If you see here, I have a assertion property called be checked, but here should not be checked. So you just insert not dot be checked. That's it. So now let's execute all these now. So my third test case also should be executed, and we are going to validate all the blank screens. Okay, and this is my second test case. Now third, immediately it goes back again, done, and then it validated this and this and this. Okay, see how fast it is if you see here. So if you see here, once you click on go back, we went back to the screen, and I'm validating. See, this expected value to have value blank, correct? This is blank, and this should have a blank. This should have a blank. Let's see, if I type something here before I validate, the test case should fail, right? Let me do one thing. Okay, let me let me type something. Okay, copy this. What I'm doing, I'm actually, before I validate my title input, I'm going to type something. Now the first validation should fail because I'm saying it should have an empty value, but before that I'm typing something in the title. Okay, let's save this and see. My first test case, see how fast Cypress is. See, because it's actually JavaScript, we don't have any Chrome drivers, right? So it's going to directly interact with the application, so it is very fast. See, now it's going to fail because it went back, and then if you see here, my expected is blank, but the value was prepare YouTube sessions, so that's why it failed. Okay, so now let's remove this again, and now run this again. So now this is gonna pass. Okay, hope you all understand the very important concepts of automating the test cases by using Cypress. So it's very easy, and the results are very simple. So basically it's very easy for you to automate the test cases by using Cypress. Okay, so if you have any queries, please do leave your comments in the comment box. I'll try to respond to your queries. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you.